Live and local morning radio. Coming to you from the studios of Magic Broadcasting on Laird. This is the Kramer Show. This is the Kramer Show. The phone is now open, and the phone operators are standing by. Turn down your radio when you call. Pay attention and be ready to go. 850-233-9988.
I said, if you're having the best time of your life right now, look at it. Yes, sir.
This is Kramer.
7:05. Last night in my house, one of the smoke alarms, the battery was going dead. And so it seemed like every 5 seconds, all night long. And I'm in and out of sleeping, right? And I keep thinking, well, surely somebody will get up and do something about it because everybody else is not in the bed, like, because I go to bed at the, as soon as the sun's not even down when I go to bed. Thinking, somebody will get up and do something with it. Maybe they'll just get up and they'll take the battery out of it, and then tomorrow I'll go to Walmart, I'll get us another battery, and we'll be all good. But no, nobody did that. Nobody wanted to save the day. Everybody was like, it'll be funny because Keith won't get any sleep, and he'll be tired all day. And then he'll be grumpy. It'll be fun. It'll be neat.
That made me remember something. Do you remember or recall that right after the hurricane, how everybody's smoke detectors were going on the fritz and would just randomly start going off?
Oh, yeah, because the power wasn't on. Yeah.
Well, even mine, you guys were staying with me that time, and mine just all of a sudden started going off for no reason.
Yeah, I was staying at Rachel's.
Oh, that was awful. Not you, but
you didn't like us staying with
going
you?
Off. Oh, the alarm going off.
I know,
it was
brutal.
Man. It's so loud.
Scott Major's with us. Scott Major, attorney at law. Scott Major from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team, who slept like a little kitten last night, I'm sure. 30 years doing insurance claims. Stormhelpteam.org. Stormhelpteam.org. Morning, buddy. How are you?
Great. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. You sleep good last night, did you?
I slept on a bed of donuts.
Oh, boy, doesn't that sound delicious?
Doesn't it?
Wouldn't it be great? You just wake up, you roll over, and just take a bite out of the bed.
Yeah, I mean, that's the new today.
Well, what is going on? What's on the mind of Mr. Scott Major today?
Okay, so I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say we have a brand new assignment of benefits law. It has passed, and boy, is it vicious.
Really?
Yes, I want to tell you about it because it's going to affect basically every possible assignment of benefits that could go out there. And it essentially says the following. It basically responds to all the concerns that government and other people have had about assignments of benefits. It basically makes it extremely difficult for them to occur. And let me tell you a little bit about what the law does. So first, in order to have an assignment, this is a new statute. It's going to be called 627.7152 and .7153, one being residential, one being commercial. It's effective on July 1st, 2019. It says that in order to get an assignment, that assignment must be in writing. It must contain a provision that allows the insured to rescind the agreement within 14 days after execution of the agreement, and or at least 30 days after the work on the property is scheduled to commence if the particular assignee, that is, say, the roofer or the contractor, hasn't performed, or at least 30 days after execution of the agreement. If the agreement doesn't say when the assignee, that is, the builder, contractor, restoration company, isn't going to start work. So if they were going to start work on July 31st, then on July 1st. But if they don't put a date of when they're starting work, then you can terminate this up to 30 days before they start work. It's got to contain a provision that requires that assignee, that is the general contractor roofer, to provide a copy of the executed agreement to the insurer within 3 days after the agreement is executed or when the work begins, so whichever is earlier. It's got to contain a estimate, a per-cost specific estimate in your actual assignment of what work you're going to do. So when you're signing it, you get to know exactly what your costs are. You can't, under that statute, you therefore can't, blindside a customer or surprise them with some large bill. You have to give them that bill in advance. On top of that, if the assignee, that is the person who takes the assignment, then wants to make a claim, there's additional burdens that have been added. So the person, the assignee, that is the general contractor, roofer, restoration company, whatever it is, must maintain records of all the services they provide, has an affirmative duty of obligation of cooperation with the insurer, got to provide the insurer with all requested records and documents, and has to deliver the copy of the executed assignment within 3 days after it was signed. And they also have a provision that says that they have to sit for examinations under oath, EUOs, and things like that. In addition, what's interesting about it is that if you're going to decide to sue, there's a separate provision that essentially says that you have to give notice to the insurance company that you're intending upon suing them. And you, in the notice, you have to tell them exactly what your amount is that you're seeking, provide the invoice of the services, as well as the labor hours and the work that you've performed. And then you have to give that insurer 10 days to respond by making a settlement offer or offering to go to mediation, which is what's going to happen. The insurance company's going to elect mediation every single time and delay the claim. And then it says that it reduces the ability of that assignee to get attorney's fees. Remember, the most important thing about these claims that are significant is that, if you have a $1,000 claim or $5,000 roof claim, how does the insured, get a good lawyer? Well, they get a good lawyer because they can hire someone like me who can get the $5,000 for the client and then get whatever he wants in attorney's fees, and it doesn't affect the amount. Now they've entered a new provision that basically says you can't get very much of the attorney's fees, if you get near or at the amount. So they can litigate these $3,000 claims to the end of the earth. And if you get close to $3,000, you actually win. You're not going to get your attorney's fees, or you're going to get a reduced amount. It's a complicated formula, but it's a reduced amount. So it is pretty significant. I think in the end, what you're going to have, which is the most significant thing, is every insurance policy is going to change. Every insurance policy is going to have language that says we prohibit assignments of all kinds. So that's the lion's share of what is a massive, massive blow to assignment of benefits to people.
Now, what are your thoughts on all of that after hearing you say kind of the cliff notes about what it means? What are your overall thoughts? I guess my first question too is going to be: are you surprised at that? And then, what are your overall thoughts?
I'm not surprised that we would get such a blistering, a devastating statute, and unfortunately, sometimes these kinds of statutes can really harm the consumer. Under the guise of trying to fix a real problem, sometimes you can overcorrect and create a detriment to people who want to go and get recovery. I do like the concept of restricting assignments of benefits to valid people. I like provisions that say, if you want to do an assignment of benefits, you need to tell the insured what it is you're going to do. You can't just do an assignment of benefits and then you don't tell the person what kind of roofing or general contracting or work you're going to do, and then you make up some claim, and then you get all these phone calls. You and I get these phone calls of people who signed up and they got a $50,000 bill for what they thought was $2,000 worth of work.
Yeah.
I like some of those provisions. I really like the idea of just, making it more detailed. You get an invoice, you know exactly what it is they're going to be doing, and it urges them to start doing it. I love those provisions. I don't like the attorney's fee shifting provision.
Yeah.
I think that is a terrible provision for consumers. And, but, sometimes you have, certain types of this Republican moved Congress. Sometimes you have, strong views against any kind of litigation. And unfortunately it hurts the consumer. So I like some parts of it. I don't like other parts of it. But we really need more clarity in these assignments of benefits anyway, so I think the idea is good. What's going to happen in the end is I think the statute is going to end up with a lot of teeth because we're going to gut. Every insurance policy is going to say you can't assign it unless you do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so I think the bottom line is let's leave the claims in the names of the insureds. Let's let the insureds proceed with their rights, and then let's have the contractors make direct contractual agreements with the clients to do the work, and you're still going to get reputable people who are going to do the work. But this statute may also have some constitutional challenges because, the way in which it is worded is a little bit troublesome. But overall, it's sort of overkill on a decent problem that was out there. If you follow me.
Yeah, I mean, you have problems with the storm, and then something happens and goes wonky with a contractor, and then prior to this, you had a pretty significant threat of being able to use an attorney because of the getting the legal fees paid. This is definitely going to make that a lot different.
Yeah, I think that you're going to find that people with assignments of benefits after this July 1st deadline are going to be significantly hampered, in their attempts to recover, because if you think about it, what's the insurance company going to do? Well, in every single case in which there's a claim, the insurance company is going to elect this mediation process, which means there's no way you can possibly get a immediate resolution. Number two, if the claim is for at or near the disputed amount, they can just litigate you to death, and you have to win outright, and if you don't win outright, you may even have to. There's a provision that says you may even have to pay the insurer's attorney's fees. Again, that doesn't help.
What?
It doesn't hurt. Yeah, exactly. If there's a certain percentage, they've now shifted the provision and made the insurer be able to get attorney's fees in certain cases. So,
wow.
You get, for example, if you ask for $50,000 and you end up with a $25,000 result, that means you got money. The insurer may be entitled to fees. So it just it breaks it down into percentages. It's very complicated, but the concept is there's now a right for the insurer to recover fees.
What is it normally? What is this like normally in other states? Is it more on the side of the insured, or is it more on the other side? Or what are we doing here? Are we
different states have different things? We have one of the strongest attorney's fees provisions. There are other states that have them, but Florida is one of the strongest because it protects its policyholders the best. And this statute, 627.428, which is a statute that gives you fees, I think is a absolutely incredibly good statute. I think obviously any statute's not perfect, but I love the idea of being able to help a listener that has $2,000 worth of damages and could never otherwise afford me. And why shouldn't he get me? Why should he be punished because his claim or her claim is lower? This is garbage. So I love that provision. Not only states have these prevailing party fee types of provisions, but I think when you have insurance policies that are drafted by the insurance company and forced down your throat, you have no choice. You can't negotiate the terms of those insurance policies. I think it's a fair balance. I don't like some of the prostitution that goes on of the statute and people filing claims left and right, just to make it an attorney's fee war. That doesn't help out a lot. I think it would be great to have provisions in the actual insurance policy that requires them to do certain things, like have provisions in the policy that says if you provide an estimate, within 10 days after a claim is filed, the insurance company has certain duties. They either have to accept the estimate, they either have to perform it themselves, or they must counter with a reasonable estimate themselves. I mean, there are ways to fix these things where you can reduce litigation. But this open-ended situation where all of a sudden you and I have no rights anymore, is just crazy. But, what's going to happen, just is just the insured will just maintain the claim. It doesn't affect claims that you don't assign. So they'll just change the way they approach things, and you'll have less assignments. It's just that statistics show that people who receive assignment of benefits are more likely to proceed with litigation and more likely to have excessive, bills.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Let's take a break. If you got a question about the new assignment of benefits, this laundry list of changes, 850-233-9988, the phone number to get on touch. Get on the air with Scott Major from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. 850-233-9988. Back in a minute.
The Kramer Show. Unfortunately, we'll be right back. This is NewsTalk at 101. This is the Kramer Show on NewsTalk at 101.
724, Scott Major with us this morning. By the way, to get in touch with Scott Major and Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team, it's 844-800-LAWS, 844-800-LAWS. Prior to this storm, transparent, I did not know what an assignment of benefits was. I don't think that there's anything that was ever on my radar. And I hear about it now constantly. We've talked about it for 6 months. We've talked about some of the ideas that were, over in Tallahassee, and then I've talked to politicians. Every time I talk to a politician, whether it be a congressman, a senator, or whoever, they always bring up assignment of benefits as it relates to the storm. So I'm not surprised if something did happen. I'm a little surprised that it doesn't err more on the side of the policyholder in terms of using attorneys and making that more easy, because I think a lot of people get duped into these assignment of benefits. The good thing with the storm is that now it has brought attention to it, at least, right?
No doubt about it. I'll tell you that, there are some really good provisions in there. For example, when you get an assignment of benefits, the person who took the assignment, that is the general contractor, roofer, plumber, restoration company, can't sue you, the insured, for anything. In other words, if they take an assignment of benefits, they have to proceed against the insurance company. I mean, there are some protections in there, but I'm always wary and always upset when I hear that impacts to attorney's fees are affected. I just don't like those provisions. Again, if the insured, if you or I don't assign the rights, we can continue forward with a typical litigation and get our fees. So the good news is that effectively, assignments may go away in large part, but it won't stop you from maintaining your claim. You'll just have to manage your claim, and maybe more and more people will use lawyers earlier because they realize that we need to help manage those claims, and we need to make sure that the right vendors are hired and that they have contracts that are legitimate with their consumer. It's just that you're going to hear, a firestorm of vendors saying, hey, listen, now I have to have a specific contract with my insured, and I have to, bill them, or I have to wait on work being done because I'm not going to start that work earlier, whereas normally I would do that with an assignment of benefits. But I do like the attempt to overcome the rampant, misuse of assignment of benefits and some of these exorbitant overbilling that's going on as a result of some of the unscrupulous vendors who are misusing what otherwise would be a great provision to help you get your property rebuilt.
Yeah, 850-233-9988, 850-233-9988. I mean, if you don't take out, the AOB in the first place, then that really doesn't affect you.
Correct.
I think a lot of people, I mean, we have lunch, every Friday we'll have lunch at Granny Cantrell's, or, sometimes we'll talk about it on the phones, and we'll get different people and their positions on it. And again, some people really do get duped into it. They think that's really the only way, and especially when it's an urgency type situation.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I don't like, if you and I have talked about this, I don't like the concept of all of these public adjusters and vendors being able to race out to the property, sign up these clients before lawyers can, because lawyers have more regulations, and then, us have to deal with the problems that are resulting. I think everybody should be on the equal playing field. And if you want to hire a public adjuster, that's fantastic. You want to hire a vendor, that's fantastic. You want to hire a lawyer, it's fantastic. But the idea that, we have to wait in line, and by the time we get to you, you've signed some of these contracts, particularly the AOBs, that are offensive or that don't have any pricing in it, and then you become a prisoner of that particular situation, was not the intention of assignment of benefits. It was to help people get their properties rebuilt. It was the concept. So all in all, there'll be some fallout from this statute, but there'll be some benefits from it. But the insurance lobby is very strong, and they were able to navigate and have this statute written in a very productive way for insurance companies.
Scott, sit tight. We'll do some phones next. Scott Major, 850-233-9988.
This is the Kramer Show on Panama City's information station, NewsTalk at 101.
Hello?
You're on the air?
Hello, you're on the air. The Kramer Show.
233-9988.
The Kramer Show. The Kramer Show.
You appear intelligent, but when you open your mouth, the effect is spoiled.
Welcome in, 7:35. Scott Major with us. 850-233-9988. 850-233-9988. Talking about the new assignment of benefits rules. Let's go to Ann. You're up with Scott Major. Ann, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, both of you, for sharing all of this, especially your perspective on the laws and the things that we've been going through, Mr. Major. My question about AOBs is the new AOB law becomes effective July 1st. Will that also apply retroactively to AOBs previously signed just after the storm, or only those AOBs signed after July 1st?
Only those on or after July 1st.
Okay.
So you're going to see a rush in the market space. Everybody's going to want to go get an AOB. You can see loads of people, but if you already have one, then it won't apply retroactively.
Okay. That's what I needed a little bit of clarification on. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate your perspective on all these new laws and everything that we're going through. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thanks for the kind words. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Ann.
Bye-bye.
Very good. Anybody else? 850-233-9988. Joe, you're up with Scott Major. Hi, Joe.
Yeah, good morning, Kramer. Good morning, Counselor.
How you doing?
My question, simply put, is I have loss of use on my policy. We're 202 days in, and I have been requested by the insurance company at the outset to provide them with an average of what rentals would be, and I did that via my own real estate agent, and to date we have not received a penny on loss of use, and we still cannot live in our home. So what's going on with that?
First things first, you should get a lawyer, and you should file a complaint with the state, and you should file a lawsuit. If you've sent them all the valid invoices and all the supporting data and they have not provided you with payment, there's absolutely zero excuse for them not paying you if you've provided all the information that's necessary. If you do have estimates which show what your damages are to your house and when it's going to be completed, that's also helpful.
Yes.
But I wouldn't wait any longer.
Yes, I do. And to date, damages are $329,000. To date, the insurance company for repairs has sent 89 initially and another 19. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, I highly recommend you call the 800 laws number, because it's just crazy that you should have to wait this long and be outside of your home. Your home is the most important thing in your life, besides your family. It's the biggest investment you're ever going to make. You ought to be able to enjoy its comforts all the time, and you shouldn't tolerate anything less than full performance under the contract.
Yeah, we're elderly. I'm pushing 68 in a few months if I live that long, and, my wife's just at her wit's end wanting to get back home. To me, it's just about paramount criminal activity on behalf of an insurance company.
I think it is absolutely horrific that insurance companies have not backed up a truck and unloaded money for all the people that they know in a Category 5 storm were damaged. And the idea that they would make you wait after you've provided documentation over and over again, months, is nothing short of insanity. And I highly recommend that you get a lawyer involved, or at least get some legal advice, because you're entitled to all the money under your contract. And I tell you and every listener, we're here to fight for you. We understand the frustrations. I've lived through storms myself. It's been upsetting to me, and I know what it's like to be out of your home. I am telling you, dial that 844-800-LAWS number. Let us help you or get you to somebody who can, but don't wait, and tell every one of your friends who hasn't been paid to do the same.
Roger that. We'll do it. You'll be getting a call from us.
Have a great day. Wish you the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Joe, appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. When it comes to other areas that have had storms, is the waiting game with the insurance pretty much, is that universal all around in other storms and other parts of the country, or is this really basically just we're just now kind of seeing it for the first time and experiencing it for the first time here?
Yeah, I think it's a model around the country. Unfortunately, I think that there are some insurance companies that are great insurance companies that try to help people, and when they get positive claims, they resolve them. But there's a lot more of them, whether it's by intention or neglect, or just not having the resources to manage their claims, don't manage them successfully, but they have no downside. And unless you have lawyers that are going to proceed and sue, there's just no downside to the insurance company not paying you, or not paying you as fast as they want. And listen, if insurance companies just paid timely, we would have so little litigation. We would have so little fighting. People like me and you would be just talking about the types of insurance you should buy, and not talking about the hundreds of thousands of frustrated, residents of the Panhandle that you and I talk about every day. We're 5, 6, 7, we're going to 7 months into the storm, and you're still going to lunch and hearing war stories.
Yeah.
You're not hearing people come up to you and say, oh, everybody settled their claims. There's just 3 out there. What are you doing a radio show for? You hear, thank God he's on the radio. Thank God you got Scott there, because we're still having problems. And isn't that the majority of people you bump into?
Oh my God! Oh my! You really don't even know. I mean, the amount of people that we talk to. I'm always amazed when we sit around and have our lunch when we go out on Fridays. Just everybody. I mean, everybody at the table is going through the same damn thing. And, somebody got a public adjuster, and now they're having to wind up getting a lawyer. This person just went ahead and got a lawyer. This person didn't do anything for the first 6 months, and now they're at their wits' end, and now they've called a lawyer, and everybody's, coming into play. It's kind of, I feel like that's kind of where we are right now, is that in this whole process, and you can call me if I'm wrong on that, but it feels like that we're at the point now where attorneys are having to get involved. And by the way, back to another question that I had mentally while you were talking there. Is it true that the insurance companies, while they're delaying, are using that money to invest it so that they're making money while people are waiting? Is that true, or is that like a myth kind of thing?
Of course, the insurance companies are taking the money they're not paying and investing it. Of course, every day they don't pay you, their obligations to their shareholders demand that they do everything in their power to make money for them. Yeah, of course, that's true. Now whether you want to assign a nefarious belief to that, or whether you want to assign we just have a duty to manage our money until proper, timely claims are made, that's a pick 'em. But I'm just telling you, you see and I see, there are so many claims that aren't paid or aren't paid fully that you and I both know absolutely, unquestionably should be paid. And there just isn't really a lot of punitive detriment that's caused to the insurance company by doing that. Listen, I shouldn't be reporting to you that I'm handling hundreds or thousands of claims. I should be reporting to you I'm handling 9 of them. You and I should be talking all about insurance and not talking about, people's rights to go sue somebody to get money. Nobody wants to sue. It's no joy to sue. They'd rather get results. In fact, that desire not to sue has worked to the benefit of insurance companies because the wonderful residents of the Panhandle have tried to be patient, and it's worked in some ways against them. And now 5-6 months out, and it's going to go in 7-8 months out, now they're going to start telling you, we're not paying for that mold that was caused because you should have fixed it on your own. I mean, it's just an unfortunate situation, and it angers me that insurance companies don't pay these bills. It angers me that there's not many more vendors that are quality-oriented. It angers me that public adjusters don't get lawyers involved sooner. There are some good ones. It angers me that we don't get this process moving faster, because in the end, what happens is I'm not harmed. You are. All the residents are harmed because they don't know what to do. This is brand new for you guys. And so even though you and I have been screaming from the treetops since week 2, it's taken a long gestation for people to realize, holy cow, I need Scott Major. Tragically, but holy cow, I need Scott Major.
Scott, let's go to Pops. Pops, you're up with Scott Major. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a letter the other day from my insurance company saying that I've exhausted all my funds. We had to take a lot of money out of pocket and put into our house, and which is stuff they wouldn't pay for. What is my next step? Can I sue them for the rest of my money? Do I need to come see you or what?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. If you have covered claims, that is, claims which they should have paid for, and they're claiming they're not going to pay them, okay, then yes, you absolutely have legal rights, and you should explore with an attorney exactly what options you have that will help you to determine whether or not you're owed money, and if so, how much is owed under the specific contract that you signed. And that's step 1. Step 2 is if you're unsuccessful with that, then we can look at whether or not you were properly insured. But the first step is to contact a lawyer, get some good intel on here's where my damages are, here's what I spent, look at my insurance policy, and tell me what it is that I have covered and uncovered.
Okay, all right. So you'll be hearing from me.
844-800-LAWS. If you want to call in, you can ask questions. You don't have to hire us if you don't want. If you want to hire us, great. We want to give information. We want to make this a joyous occasion and something where you can be happy about getting us involved and not sad.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time, sir.
Okay, again, hey, Pops, the phone number is to get in touch with Scott Major and his crew off the air, 844-800-LAWS, 844-800-LAWS, 844-800-LAWS. So back to the assignment of benefits. You're not so shocked really at it, but it is a change, and you said that goes into effect July 1, correct?
That's correct.
And so are there really, outside of the initial outlining there, was there anything else that you saw in there worthwhile mentioning?
Well, I just think it's a complete overhaul, and it basically, it makes it difficult for assignments to occur, and if they occur, they won't be valid unless you follow all the criteria. So I'm telling people, vendors, good general contractors, roofers, restoration companies, you better call me on the phone. You better make sure you know exactly what to put in your assignment so that you don't have an invalid assignment, which is meaningless. So the statute has specific and detailed requirements that will, protect the insured, but also allow the, assignee, the person who gets the assignment to also proceed forward under limited circumstances, if in fact they follow the exact dictates of the statute. So, I think in the end, I don't like the attorney's fees provision, as I told you, but I understand the protections and the desires of what they're doing, and I think it will have some good effects. I just hope it doesn't reduce the ability of homeowners to get repairs started and other things because people won't agree to those things. I think in the end, it's probably overall a good idea, but some of the provisions are a bit extreme.
Yeah, the assignment of benefits. That's going back to what I said earlier. A lot of people have gotten an education on that up front, and we've seen articles done by news channels. We've seen articles in the paper and things like that. And then you even have actualities from people talking about what a nightmare it's caused them. So I think a lot of people are a little afraid of assignment of benefits at this point anyway.
And that's an understandable and reasonable thing to be. And I think it is treacherous when you get involved and get an assignment of benefits, and then all of a sudden you're a prisoner, of a new jail. I think that stuff needs to end. It's garbage, and it's unfortunate. But at the same time, I understand the need for protections, and I think the CFO has done a good job to lead that up in terms of trying to help, insurers, insureds in the process. But it is clearly an insurance policy, insurance provider-oriented statute.
Take a break. 850-233-9988 if you want to hop on with Scott Major. You got a question. 850-233-9988. Also, you can reach out to them, stormhelpteam.org. Stormhelpteam.org, the website.
More Kramer coming up. Oh, and if you're thinking of making a complaint call to management right now, don't bother. His dad owns the station. News Talk at 101.
It's the Kramer Show. It's News Talk at 101. Scott Major with us. Scott Major from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. Let's go to Marty. Marty, you're up, man. Hi.
Hey, good morning, guys. This is kind of a little bit long convoluted. Our house did not flood. It got a hole in the roof, so water did come in. Got underneath our flooring, our hardwood flooring. We pulled up about 1,500 square feet of flooring. We're down to the concrete slab. There were cracks, some weird-looking cracks in the foundation or in the slab. Over time, since then, we still don't have floor down. Like a lot of people, we're getting holding patterns. The cracks seem to be getting bigger. I recently purchased flood insurance. What I'm kind of wondering here, could the cracks in the foundation be from the hurricane, or the cracks in the slab be from the hurricane? Could they continue to be cracking? And then how could they possibly may want to say this is flooding, and then flood insurance say it's a pre-existing condition, et cetera? I mean, I'm kind of worried about what's coming in. I got a structural engineer.
No problem.
Insurance is sending structural engineer on Monday.
The answer is yes, and yes, in the sense that it's likely that you have foundational problems. It's likely they're caused by the storms. 170-mile-an-hour winds would not affect a lot of structures. Is delusional. Obviously, you need to get an engineer out there, a reputable one, that's going to help you to assess that. Flood insurance probably won't cover you now and won't have any impact unless there's some new flood event. But I strongly suspect that if you didn't have these problems before and you have them now, that you're going to have structural integrity problems that have to be addressed. And my recommendation to you is to get an engineer out there, as you have, to get them to write a specific and detailed report. If you need to know what the contents of the report look like, dial the 844-800-LAWS. We'll help you to get that, whether you hire us or not. But make sure you have a good report that explains the correlation between the structural problems and the storm, and explains scientifically in a detailed report, not a one-pager, but a 50-pager, that explains exactly what the science behind that is, and then you'll probably recover a substantial amount of money as a result.
So not you're saying do not rely on the insurance's structural engineer that's coming out next week.
No, to say it nicely, I would have your own engineer, and if you need one, call us, and we'll give you some names of some people, offline that'll help you. But I would not rely on your opponent to tell you what is best for you. No offense, they may do a good job. I'm not going to. I want them to come out. Let the insurance guy come out. I'm happy to go out. In fact, if he came out, I'd love my engineer to be out there while his engineer's out there. And if your engineer's seen the place before, they can walk around and say, hey, don't you agree with me? You see all this foundational things? You see all the wind vortexes cause this and blah, 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 blah. And you have a witness to that and an engineer who could say, oh, yeah, he agreed with me no matter what report he wrote. So strongly encourage you to do that. Be strategic about this. Get a lawyer or another engineer involved. Do it now. Do it so that when they come out, you're ready for them. And I think you'll be really happy with the result.
Marty, 844-800-LAWS. Billy, real quick, you're up with Scott Major. Go ahead.
Hey, I've got a question. During the hurricane, I had both my vehicles were totaled. I had a carport fell on my wife's car, and we evacuated the area to another family member's home, and I had an oak tree fall on it there. The cost of replacing those vehicles, along with what the insurance company gave us, does my homeowner's insurance have any responsibility on her car? And does my family member's insurance cover anything on my vehicle, or is that just an act of God because a tree fell on it?
No, it's covered. The carport probably falling on the car number one, probably covered. Probably in number two, car number two is probably covered under their insurance. If you have any questions about that, dial the 844-800-LAWS, and we'll give you some good intel on that. But you could have coverage on one or both.
Yeah, and because the insurance companies, when we first reported it, they were right on the spot, and they paid us, but it was minuscule, but they knew that we were in a tight spot. We had to have vehicles. We had to take what we could get. And I just not that knowledgeable about the insurance. I just had to ask that question.
Yeah, well, two quick comments. One, just because you got some money doesn't mean you're done. You can make supplemental claims. And secondly, dial the 800-844 number to talk to us about whether or not you have more coverage.
All right, there you go, Billy. 844-800-LAWS, 844-800-LAWS, stormhelpteam.org. Wow, what an amazingly fast hour, Scott Major.
Hey, thanks. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all you do for the community, 850 strong, and it's just a pleasure and an honor to be on the show.
Really enjoy having you too, my friend. You have a good rest of your day, Mr. Major, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Be well.
Scott Major from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. That was an incredible hour, and some real updates on the AOBs, which has been a major topic for now for 201 days. 201 days we have been held at siege from Congress. Think about that. 201 days. People still living in tents. Got a break. Hour 3 coming up. MAGA hats, too, coming up next. Stand by.
This is live at local morning radio. This is Kramer.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.